The US has the bigger gun, and so China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? You know, it can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't
You
care.
can't...
We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. Right. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
I mean, I wonder how aggressive China might be in trying to peel away the EU, the UK, Australia, peel these countries away from their deals with the US.
We do not want to separate other countries from each other, but it is true that EU is talking to China. The voices I picked up here in Beijing is that EU leaders and Chinese leaders are having phone calls, exchange of delegations. We're talking about the possibility of signing up the comprehensive agreement of investment or even leading towards a free trade agreement between China and EU eventually.
When you hear Donald Trump say China wants a deal, it just doesn't know how to go about it. They're proud people. J.D. Vance talks about Chinese peasants. What do you make of their conduct in this respect?
If J.D. Vance thinks that he's dealing with the peasants in China, and I'm proud to be a descendant of the peasants. Most of us are descendants of the peasants anyway. That's our tradition. We are farmers before, but now we are one of the leading industrialized in the world. So, sorry, J.D. Vance doesn't know what he's talking about. And therefore, I don't think there will be China-US dialogue unless the United States changes its attitude towards China. Deal with China as it is. Show respect to China, show respect to the Chinese people, and don't try to impose your prejudice and biased view about China or about the rest of the world. We will not buy that kind of prejudice or discrimination from the United States. No, we will never buy that story.
To hear you talk and to hear Donald Trump talk, it seems very clear that there's not going to be any deal anytime soon unless someone alters their stance. Doesn't that then mean global recession and really misery for many people around the world?
Well, my concern is that if China and the United States do not take major measures to correct all these tariff war or trade war launched by the United States, we will have a recession. President Trump needs to realize that Rome is not built overnight. To talk about millions of manufacturing jobs going back to the United States, relying on tariff is a futile attempt.
You think the American people will rise up?
Well, there will be the midterm election next year. And whether the American people will vote with their feet, I do not know. And there will be a general election, presidential election in 2028. Results will be known in 2029. If you follow the American political rhythm, no party has a complete permanent lock on power.
Well,
and
unlike
we all
in China.
need to prepare for changes. Well,
unlike
in China, we have stability. We have stability, predictability, certainty. We always say we have a plan for the coming 100 years for peace and stability and development.
Victor Gao, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor.
Well, I'm now joined by Peter Loge, a former Obama administration official, and Republican strategist Lance Trover. Thanks very much to both of you for coming on. Peter, let me start with you. I mean, President Biden, before that, President Obama, everyone has been saying we've got to deal with the Chinese. And of course, Republicans have said the same thing. Is President Trump finally doing something that the Biden administration